Yo, this is Tony Blanco's Team TV, baby. The winner of Survivor Cagayan season 28. This is Survivor Talk with D&D. I'll be listening to you guys from my spy shack. I hope you put on a great show like you always do. Peace.
Way to cough, David. Hello, everybody. This is Dwayne.
Come in, David.
And that was David. And we're just two best friends talking about the show we love, Survivor. And you know it. Tonight is our recap, mainly recap and discussion of episode 4. We're a hot mess.
That was said like 3 times. I was thinking,
right.
Probst said it one time, and I was thinking, hey, who gets points for Probst?
Yeah. Yes. Actually, I think the first time I watched it, I've watched it twice now. I think the first time I watched it, I thought, wait a second, nobody gets points if Probst says it.
Yeah, but she said it earlier too.
Right. So we are live on YouTube, but now we have a watch live page on our website. So you can just go to stwdd.com. That's survivortalkwithdnd.com. Either one of those works. And right in the middle underneath our logo that says watch and chat live. And we have several people in there right now. They're not talking to each other, but they are there.
Are they at odds?
I don't know. Maybe one of them's name is Drew, and they're scared to speak up.
I just like how you said that. They're not talking to each other right now.
Yes, because I am watching the chat room right now. We use Chatwing, and you can download the app for your mobile phone and install it and just log in with Facebook and chat away while you are watching. And actually, that page always has the chat window open, so if you want to go in and see if there's anybody there and just chat about stuff, feel free. But most of that kind of stuff happens on our Facebook group. But anyway, we do record live every Thursday and Sunday night, 10 o'clock Eastern. And if you want to watch and interact with other fans, you can do so at our website. So we do want to thank you for starting your Amazon shopping using our links. They're all over our Facebook page, all over our Facebook group. Actually, they're all over our website, and there's a link on our Facebook group.
Hey, I got an emergency. I'll be right back.
All right, I'll keep on talking then. So anyway, so we do thank you all for doing that. And David's not here to hear this, but I want to thank Will the Giant Ninja, who for signing up to help us through Patreon. He became our eighth person to sign up for a monthly donation, and I think it's anywhere from $1 up. It doesn't matter what you give. If enough people give $1 up, it'll really help us. So we really appreciate that. If you like the show, you want to buy some coffee or something, just less than it cost you for a cup of coffee, you can do that. Go to www.stwdd.com/support, and we will be able to appreciate that greatly. So people are starting to get active on the chat room. David stepped away from the computer. I'm left here by myself, and now I know why people don't like doing podcasts alone. It's because of this, dead air time. So anyway, all right. Well, let's see. I can't talk about initial thoughts, so I will tell you that you can get your buffs. See how we have buffs behind us? You can get those at Buff USA, and there's a link on our website. And that's all I got. So I guess I'm back. Get to initial thoughts. And David, why don't you tell us your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts. Now
that was rough.
Coming back on. I know.
So rough right there.
Well, that's like when you take a drink. I see you pick up your cup and you point at me like, go. No, I don't have time. But anyway, like now, my initial thought. My first thought was I did have a different reaction the second time I watched it. My first initial thought was I felt like I was watching deleted scenes from the first 10 days of Survivor.
Oh, yeah?
Because I felt like what I was seeing didn't really have any effect on the rest of the game. And that was because we got a lot of Drew, and in the end it meant nothing because Drew was gone. But the second time I watched it, Drew, I think, lit a fire under some really good play. I think some really good Survivor play came out of Drew's actions, his Drewisms, whatever you want to call it. And I enjoyed the episode both times, but I really enjoyed it the second time because I just saw things that I didn't pick up as fast the first time. But
can I address something there?
Sure.
Please. I think that's a great point that I had not thought of. Drew's idiocy really made for other people. Really gave opportunity for other people to do some good stuff, just like you said. And I hadn't thought of it that way, but thank you, Drew.
Exactly, because a friend of ours posted, he said, well, that was a fun episode to watch. I said, fun, yeah, but Survivor strategic, not really. But the second time I watched it, and even when I thought about it before the second time I watched it, I'm like, wow, there was some subtle yet really savvy Survivor play come out of that. We're going to talk about that. But yeah, my first thought when I watched it was, I just watched some good, funny scenes, but they didn't really feel like they had anything to do with the rest of the season. Deleted scenes are deleted because they don't really have an effect on the movie as much. And I love deleted scenes, right. But I felt like I was watching scenes that just popped up here and there. It was like the Drew and Alex show, and I was just like, "Why? Well, let's move on." But like I said, the second time I really, really liked it even more.
Yeah. You know, one thing that I think is amazing is how I can have a thought in my head, and then when I say one thing that is amazing, I forget the thought.
Age, just age, brother.
That is one of the most amazing things that is in my head right now. What the heck was I going to say? Oh, here it is.
It just came back in.
Be quiet before I lose it again.
Now, okay, go ahead.
Shut up! No. Okay, you want to talk about really a great opportunity? Natalie was okay. This is one of my initial thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Natalie took a good situation and made it better. Because she was kind of in with the guys. Because I was reading it, and I'll tell you why I know this later on. But she was already in with like Drew and with John and with Jeremy, and they were all already talking about stuff. And Drew just alienated her, completely pushed her out, basically told her to go do an all-women's alliance, and so she did.
Right.
You know, I mean.
Yeah,
Bro.
we both heard some exit interviews, so we got this information from that, and it was some really good information. But you're right, man. Natalie is still in my opinion, a really good spot with her tribe for now, of course. Yeah. But yeah, she's really in a good spot with the women and the men. Yeah. She's considered by Drew one of the guys.
Right.
Which is hilarious because Nadia called Josh one of the girls. So.
Well, now Drew's not thinking about it at all. He's just wishing he had fixed it.
He's still probably not sure who organized his outing.
But you know, props to Natalie because she recognized what was going on, said, man, those guys are all mixed up. Hey, girls. Hey, Missy. You know? Hey, Kelly. Hey, Julie. And then, hey, Jeremy.
Yeah.
So, all right. So.
My other thought was, and I thought about it tonight, but it really stuck with me. I'm trying to think. I know all these people watch seasons, whether they watch every season like Kelly, or whether they only watch a few, like some of the people that we think only get to watch a few of the seasons. And I think Drew watched One World, and I think he watched Kim Spradlin, and he said, that's a girl, I'm a guy. I'm going to do the complete opposite of her, and I'm going to win the game. Yeah. I didn't let people have their own thought. I spoke over everybody. I told everybody what to do, and I was the loudest person there.
Right.
Complete opposite of Kim Land. You know, of course, Kim won, and Drew's gone. But I'm just like, dude, you are doing everything wrong. How can you be so wrong? Bro, you got to fix that. Anyway, can't fix it now.
No. So. All right. Before we get to the recap and discussion, this is the last time I'm going to mention this. But this is so hilarious because we're sitting here having a conversation about Survivor, and everybody in the chat room is talking about folding laundry. So
I told you there'd be other conversations going on while we did this.
That's all right. They're talking about how awesome they are by being able to watch, chat, fold laundry, and grade papers at the same time.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Have you gotten it up on your phone yet?
Yeah, I was downloading it while we were. I'm seeing your messages.
It's.
Oh, they're there. Go down. Okay.
Yeah, STWDD is the chat room.
Oh wow, Jackie and Janice.
Yeah,
and
lots
Robert.
of people on there.
Oh, nice.
We have. I don't think they're all in the chat room, but we have more viewers now than we've ever had. I think the chat room is helping. All right. Well, audio people don't care about that.
Well, it only took me a minute to download it and bring it up, and then you just, like you said, STWDD, and it goes in real quick.
Or, if you got the whole multi-screen thing, you can put the video on one screen and then just go to chatwing.com/STWDD on the right screen and have it all up there. Hey, we got a new toy. It took me all afternoon to do it. Not today, but a couple days ago. I spent a long time getting that thing set up. And it was fun.
How did you log in? Through Facebook or through email, or what did you do?
Well, I log in as the Survivor Talk with D&D. I log in as the administrator. I'm already logged in, but you can log in through Facebook and it'll show your picture.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Because it wouldn't let me post yet, so that makes sense.
Mike Razor is going to Halloween as an incubus. Okay, I got to stop looking at that. Let's get to the show.
I told you, don't be distracted.
Let's get to the show.
Yes, previously on.
Okay. I don't have anything for previously on.
I do.
They really set up the show with it, though.
They did, because it talked about Keith and Jeremy and the idol. That's what I wrote. Keith/Jeremy equals idol. And I thought, we've been talking a lot this week and the past week and to Andy about where is Jeremy and where's this idol? Why haven't we seen it? When are we going to see it? And I said, all right, we're going to see it this week. Whether they win or not, I really think we're going to see it this week because they're talking about it.
Right.
But what I wrote down was Probst's final comment about before Rocker going home, and he said the men's alliance crumbled and Rocker went home. And I thought, how poetic that he's talking about the men's alliance crumbling last week,
yes.
And then we go to this week's episode.
And it crumbles again.
Yes, exactly.
And what's with Jeremy not finding the idol yet? I mean, by all rights, Keith should have been correct.
Boo let me down. Boo let me down. Boo's got to do better than that.
Boy, we're going to have a fun time talking about that. All right, so night 8, Coyopa. Well, guess who's excited? That would be Baylor.
Yeah, hey,
I'm safe. Thank you, producers, for nothing, but I'm safe.
Exactly.
There's a lot of talk going around that the producers really tried to talk to basically do everything but say, John, play the idol. To get him to play the idol, and he still didn't play it, and he went home and saved Baylor.
So all those Rocker facial impressions were actually the producers in the background.
Yeah, going,
play it! Play it!
Do that again.
Play it! Play it! Idol! Play it!
There you go, Kathy. Screen cap number 1. Oh, man. So, of course, Bailey's excited. Removing John's attitude is going to help us. Yeah. Of course, like I said last episode, or whatever it was, whenever I last said it, if she wanted John around, she would have liked his attitude.
Exactly. But they, I don't know, then Alec counters it with his, some people are going to question that we voted out the strongest person in our tribe, most athletic, but if we lost with him, we can still lose without him, is what he should have said.
Yes. Yes.
We can lose just as well without him.
So, did you have, whenever you watched this episode, did you just want to do what Janice wanted to do and go,
face palm?
Just face palm?
Well,
what the heck?
It's funny because whenever Davis watches SpongeBob, which he doesn't really watch it that much anymore, thank goodness, but whenever he watches it, I feel like I lose brain cells when that show comes on. It's just, I don't know if it's the starfish that talks or whatever, Patrick, but whenever Alec was talking, I just felt like I could feel parts of my brain coming out of my ear or something. It's like, what are you saying? Are they just need you to fill time or something? Because stuff he was talking about was like filler. It was like, here, read this, right. And it was just like, I don't know. It's a disillusionment. It's a unawareness of what's going on. I don't know. Yeah. I was like, why are they still talking to this guy? They're just getting points for somebody. Yeah. Confessional points. I don't know.
So Dale feels left out, and rightfully so.
He did, but he smartly said, and this is Dale's maturity, whether he's a fan or not, but yeah, he's absolutely feeling left out. But he said, what would you have done if we told you? Oh, I probably wouldn't have done anything, because I would have bowed down to your power. You all were in charge, so I would have done nothing. Good answer, Dale. And then he turns around and, I'm done. I'm so done.
I thought he said, well, there's nothing I could have done. I thought something.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably what he said.
A little different than, I would have gone with y'all.
Right. Well, yeah, he didn't say I would have gone with y'all. Right. There's nothing I could have done, as in I would have had to, not had a choice. Because if Rocker played his idol, y'all probably would have voted me out.
Right.
So, but that was good of him. That he basically went on. There's a lot of good replies this week. Good comments, especially in the other tribe too.
So we get a rare look the next morning before they go to the reward challenge. We get a little hunapu. We get a little morning music.
Yes.
Little stretching. John is the Incredible Hulk with his shirt busting at the seams. It's like those old zipper sweaters they used to have, or those zipper shirts.
Yeah.
It's like that without the zipper. Anyway.
He's breaking through the crusted blanket that he somehow used when he fell asleep.
So Natalie cuts her foot on the flint, or almost cuts her foot on the flint, and Drew is ticked off. He's like, I don't know if I'm happy or ticked off.
What was funny leading up to Drew's outburst was it seemed like Drew and John were the only people happy to be there. They were waking up. John's waking up with a big old smile. Something tells me that John could sleep anywhere.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the shelter, under a tree, under a rock. Unfortunately, he couldn't sleep in the fire pit and find the flint. But anyway.
Right.
Yeah, but man, Drew. Here's the first of Drew. I could have been feeding this tribe. I could have been fishing, man. I probably would have had a boat by now. That was funny. So, filter. You got to have a filter before you say certain things. I don't know if I'm mad or not.
Yeah, Drew doesn't really have a filter.
No.
So Drew has this idea. Look, I'd love to fish. So how about I offer this little piece of flint for that fishing gear that's, back at the production camp being used by the production crew.
Right.
As decorations. And everybody's like, no, don't do that, don't do that. I'm going to take an opposing view from most people. Because most people think he was an idiot for trying this.
Mm-hmm.
Even the tribe themselves just seemed, if anything, they seemed embarrassed.
Pretty much all 8 of them.
Yeah, seemed embarrassed. But why not? I mean, okay, so you look stupid, and you open yourself up for Jeff to make an idiot out of you. But what if that 1% chance Jeff says yes? Why not ask?
I agree. It can't hurt to ask.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to be against me like everybody else on the internet is.
No, I agree. It can't hurt to ask. However, there was no way that it was going to happen because Drew was basically saying, here's something we don't need anymore, and we want to give it back to you for something we really do need. So they weren't giving up anything to get something, which is why Probst just taunted them, which was great.
That is true, yeah.
But I'm completely agreeing with you. It can't hurt to ask. The only dumb question is the one you don't ask. Of course, when Drew asks a question, sometimes it is dumb. But anyway.
Yeah. I guess when you put it that way, though, it's kind of like going to camp and going to the challenge, you're going, Probst, I have this log, and I would like to trade it for some fishing gear.
We got these leaves. We would like to trade these extra leaves.
We have painstakingly woven these pond fronds for you, Jeff.
That's right.
Well, I haven't, but Natalie has.
And you can take them for your shelter. And Jeff says, I'm in a building. I'm in the Ponderosa. I've got my own trailer. Yes. Well, still, you could take these palm fronds and lay them on the ground.
Yes. Oh, this is the most surreal feeling right now because the chat room, they're not even listening to us anymore, David. They're just having their own conversations.
I told you this is going to happen.
It's such a surreal feeling because I feel like we're like background noise for their conversation.
We have brought people together.
That is true, though. They're having a blast.
That's right.
Hey, well, what's awesome is they're going to be like the show will be over. They'll be like, oh, Dwayne and David were talking? I guess we better go download the episode.
They're at Tribal Council. Maybe we should listen now. See, my problem was I just walked in the door, and I put it up on my phone, and I shouldn't have done that anyway, but I'm looking at it, and I'm like, something's really wrong because it's all fuzzy. And I realized I hadn't taken my contacts out yet.
Oh.
That was my emergency. I didn't want to throw them away.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, sorry.
I was hoping it wasn't anything else. You've been gone for a long time if it was. So, all right, shall we get to redemption? Oh, wait, no. We get a first, my friend. we get a first. Are you ready for the first? I'm pretty sure it's the first Kelly confession.
Drew's a lot of talk, let's be honest. He says he can do all these amazing things, and then he sleeps for 4 hours. But all we can hear from Drew, fishing gear, fishing gear. We should have got the fishing gear. Fishing gear, it's gone. It's not like every time we get to choose fishing gear.
Right. Fishing gear, fishing gear, fishing gear.
Which is just a reminder that somebody knows what's going on in Survivor World.
Yeah, how about
she
Kelly?
Keeps dropping hints. Because I'll just say this now, but gentlemen, Drew was right. There is a savvy Survivor person in your tribe that you probably should have sent home. Because she's in my final 3. She's still in my final 3. And I hate to say this, he went about it all wrong, but I think Drew was right. I think that girl is going to go pretty far in this game. And just like Josh, I think should have got rid of Baylor, not Rocker. Yeah. I think Drew was right. He just went about it in a horrible way.
Well, he even said she's seen every single episode.
Exactly.
You know, I don't think Drew has seen any episodes.
I can't wait till we talk about Drew a little bit later.
All right, day 9, Redemption Duel. Hunapu claps and even stands whenever Julie's husband is shown to be voted off. Now, I think that's bad sportsmanship. I don't think they should have done that. But Julie, I was so impressed with Julie this episode. She really handled herself very well, and she handled this very well, distancing herself from John and from what he did.
I think every moment we saw Julie speak was a very good moment for Julie.
Yes.
She had all the right answers. She was in the right places. She didn't separate herself anymore.
Right.
But I'll be honest, out of respect for Julie, they probably shouldn't have got so excited.
Exactly. Well, that's kind of my point.
Exactly. I agree with you.
But, contrast that with how Jeremy would have reacted if everybody had stood and clapped for Val being voted off.
Oh, yeah.
He would have went off on his tribe. He would have called everybody whatever. He would have gone off on them. Julie handled it very well.
See, that makes me wonder. Well, and Jeremy called Rocker out for it. Rocker couldn't have gone silent through that. Was it 2 weeks ago? Was it last week? And because Jeremy called him out. Well, he was supposed to. Didn't he call him out for it? He was supposed to protect her, or did John apologize first? I don't remember either. I'm wondering if he could have stayed silent because that's what started at the end for Rocker, or at least for the other tribe. But I love that Julie said, you know what? Ever since John started being John, and everybody basically, she said everybody started prejudging him for who he was. I created a shell.
Right.
And I put myself in this shell. And I love how she said, I kept myself with the tribe. I kept myself as part of the tribe. And it's like the tribe went, oh, she's with us. And she is now because she doesn't have Rocker. And like Missy said, you need to just play your own game. And that's what she's thinking. And, man, I really liked her this episode. I thought she had a really good episode.
Yeah, lots of good stuff from Julie this episode. So Drew tries to barter with Jeff. And, again, what I felt like was they were just more embarrassed by it than anything. However, as soon as Jeff acted like he might be interested, Reed was like, do you have a return policy?
Exactly. If Jeff would have said something, the whole tribe would have said, thanks, Drew.
Yeah. Drew would have been a hero, and he would have had a reason to say all those wonderful things about himself.
Exactly.
But as it was, he didn't.
But when Probst has a simple, easy target, he's going to let it expand and get bigger and bigger.
Yeah. So it's time for balls in the basket, and this looks like a great little challenge for 2 people to do.
Yes, it does.
And they're playing for either temporary food, because, food's only temporary. Sure, you see it later, but you ain't doing nothing with it.
Nope.
Or versus long-term shelter and comfort. I think this choice is obvious.
Yeah.
For whoever wins.
Yep. I love the post rock, paper, scissors expression from Missy. If you look at her face, it was it Wes she did it with?
I don't remember.
I think it was Wes, and they did it, and she won, and her look is like, sit down, son. I just took care of you in this little competition.
Yes.
I loved it. That look was awesome.
I'm the mama bear, and you're Goldilocks. Get out of my house. So John versus Jacqueline, and this was anybody's game. It could have been either one of them. David's gone again. I don't know where he went.
Sorry. Yeah, I agree because the comeback was great. I don't know how much editing they could have done, but the comeback that she made was just awesome. But I loved it. You lined it up, You got your distance. You do the one step. When you're tall like Jacqueline, you don't have to jump every time because you got to get it to go short. She was able to just put her foot down and not even have to jump off the podium sometimes.
Right. How about Dale pulling some rocker action, talking smack, man?
He seems to be. I'm telling you, him and Kelly have been the cheerleaders and smack talkers. Well, she doesn't talk smack, but he does. You're right. You throw like a girl.
You throw it like a girl. By the chat room is discovering that I blocked certain words from being used in the chat room. That's what you get. Now, if they weren't bad words, be sure to let me know and I'll find out why. But anyway, I tell you what was weird was typing those words in, because I don't say them, So to type in F, S, all these words that I don't normally say was I didn't like it. But anyway, all right. John versus Jack and Dale pulling a little rock. That middle basket. I don't even care if you're perfect aim. There's a lot of luck involved in that.
If you hit the middle basket before the other ones, then you've hit it by luck, because you're not aiming for it unless it's the last one.
Now, I don't know what about trying for the middle basket first?
I would think. Well, if you try for the middle first, you do have a good chance of hitting the ones around it. But they were firing to the point where they were getting pretty close. They kept hitting the lip of it. I don't know. I say go for the easy ones first, then concentrate on the last one.
Okay. All right.
Because if you take forever on the last one, then you're stressing yourself out for the other ones.
Right. All right. I will address the filter after the show, my friends. Figure out what the word was, and because they're like, it wasn't a bad word. All right. So
they're telling on each other. That's nice.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Middle basket. John wins. Drew and John are very close. We find out, which is why they had already decided, I believe, that they would go for each other.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. Well, and it's a good idea, because if you're close with somebody, then you want to send that person with your loved one. I mean, we've already talked about this a lot, so it was a good. Mm-hmm.
I like how he says, Drew's a good guy to send. He pulls his weight when he's not asleep. He pulls his weight. And then I like John, I think he says it, well, he says this later, but he's a little worried about sending Drew with Jacqueline, only because Jacqueline's going to probably end up doing most of the work.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, yep, you sent him.
Yeah,
but you're right. You're right. You got to send your alliance at some point, just so you could form that alliance on the other side.
Right. So there were a couple of videos put up by Survivor CBS on YouTube, and I pulled a couple of clips from them because I just really thought they were funny to hear what Missy thinks about Drew going to Exile Island, and also what Julie thinks. So we'll do Julie's first. All right, so this is Julie talking about Drew going to Exile Island.
I wasn't surprised when John from our tribe sent Drew to exile. They're really close, those two, and I think that they, just by that, it shows me that they have a real good sense of trust between each other. And I guess he trusts that Drew is going to take care of his girl. He said, in the big conversation, and the big topic was that Jacqueline is a strong, independent woman and she can take care of herself. But that was his sweet side saying, I still want somebody out there that I trust that could step up and take care of you if you needed it. I don't know if Drew can take care of anybody. Drew talks a big game. In challenges, he's really good. I do have to say that. But around camp and when it comes to food, when it comes to really just as exhausted as we all are, getting off your butt and getting firewood and getting water. I don't know if I've seen him get water once, maybe this entire, all going on 2 weeks soon. I even said it this morning. I don't know if anybody heard me, but I said, let's hope that Jacqueline knows how to cook, because otherwise they're not going to eat. He looked at the bowl and the rice and was like, well, he has no, he doesn't know.
I like that.
That's a great clip. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, and I've got one more. This is Missy.
Oops.
What?
About the same thing?
Yeah, same thing.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
All right.
I think John sent Drew to exile for a few reasons. I think that John and Drew are thick as thieves in the way that boys can be. I mean, I'm sure that, we'll see how further down the line, but there's going to be, some boy rivalry stuff going on. They're not always going to be besties. But right now they are. And so he chose him because he knew that he would go take care of his girl. Well, okay. So Drew doesn't really take care of, but Drew really will go out there and he will try to fish with whatever he's got. And he's probably going to eat the hell out of that rice. I mean, on the one hand, I think that John picked him because he knew Drew was starving. But on the other hand, I really think that John picked him because he knows that Jacqueline knows whoever John picked, John trusts with information. Exactly. And so Drew's going to get some info out of her and bring it back. And I think that that's the real reason he picked him. It's going to be quite a story when we hear from Jacqueline later on down the road, like what really happened. She's going to say, I made the fire while he napped. I made the rice while he napped. I caught the fish while he napped. We'll see.
I came back to the game while he napped.
While he napped.
I participated in the immunity challenge while he napped.
What she won't say is, Drew stared at my butt while I leaned over. She didn't see it, but we saw it.
Oh yeah, I know we still got to get to Exile. I mean, we haven't got there yet.
No, we haven't. So don't go too far.
No, my thought is, who else could he have sent? Because you want to send somebody that you're gonna block up a 4-person alliance, and if you look at his alliance, you can't send Jeremy. He's up by himself. You can't send Natalie.
Right.
So the only other person would be Reed. Right. So it's because we talked to Steve about this early on. Who do you send? And Steve's like, you send your second or third alliance mate. And I agree. Right. Because you got to have a strong core still in camp. So he could have sent Reed. That would open up a whole, because as soon as they get to a merge, if they both get there, Alec is going to run right over, join Drew. As competing as they are, he's still going to join him. So why not send Reed? And then you can bring in Josh. Yeah, I mean, that's just another option. Yeah. You're not going to send a woman. If you're playing Survivor, you want to send somebody that you can group up an alliance with. So I guess Reed would have been another option.
Another thing you get out of that Missy clip is Missy is thinking game. Missy is thinking strategy, and I'm really thinking Missy has potential to go far in this game, which is great for me. But that's not why I think that.
I'm sorry.
David,
I'm sorry,
either you're muted or...
No, you went... you there?
Am I breaking?
Yeah, you paused.
Am I breaking?
If you were live, I'd knock your teeth out.
I was saying that Missy's playing a good game, and she's thinking game, and she's thinking strategy, and I see Missy going far in this game, especially if she makes the merge.
What's neat, and I completely agree, is later we get a comment from Drew about, wow, now we got to start playing the game, which is where he aired. I think Missy is really playing the game right now. She's playing a subtle, quiet game, a sympathetic game. She's playing where she needs to play, and she's certainly not overplaying anything. I think Missy is also playing a very, very underlying game, but still a very smart game. She's putting herself. She's made alliances with Julie, and she's still aligned with the other people, including Jeremy and the other girls. So I agree, completely agree.
Well, I mean, look at it now. I mean, too bad there's a tribal swap coming, because I think Hunapu would run the table.
I do too.
Because now you've got the 4 girls sticking together with Jeremy. That's powerful.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, okay, for those of you who think that the tribal swap is done because they need to liven things up, are you kidding? Everything just got livened up, and now they're doing the swap. I don't think it was determined because of anything that happened before it. I think it was set up to have a tribal swap whenever it's coming. Sorry for those who don't know that. I'm really sorry. But if there's going to be a tribal swap next week, it wasn't because of anything that happened before. It's because it was already planned. Because, my goodness, I agree with Dalton. Crud, man, I want to see what would happen with this. Anyway.
Well, like you said, I think a certain group of people in Hunapu have got the game where they want it. Yeah. And fortunately for CBS, they want to mix it up. So, they're going to stir the pot right up, because now that it's kind of been divided, there's a group on Coyopa, whatever it is.
Coyopa.
I'm still Coyote. I'm just going to call him Coyote.
Somebody in the chat room laughed at you earlier with Koyopu.
Their next vote out is pretty simple. It's Dale. It's going to be Dale unless they decide to pull another blindside. So that's kind of set. And now that Hunapu has this 5-person alliance with the men, that's kind of set. So, yeah, I could see CBS saying now's the time to do it.
Really?
No. I'm not saying they're doing it because of this. I'm doing it because it's starting this next level of a game. Right. I like it.
I don't mind you disagreeing with me. Okay.
Well, sometimes you get upset when I don't disagree with you. Oh, I thought you were going to disagree with me. Yeah. No, I think it's a perfect time for a swap.
All right. Hunapu. Let's go back to Hunapu, day 9. And, of course, we get what you've already talked about, John talking about how he trusts Drew and stuff like that. But it was so funny. But Jacqueline may be doing most of the work, which I just thought was...
That's kind of true.
Again, what we're getting.
Yep.
I tell you what, though, what a bad reputation. Or, who's going to hire this guy?
Exactly.
To do anything that requires any sort of discipline or self get up and go.
Well, that's why his job is modeling.
Well, there you go.
God gave him the look, so he's just using it the way God gave it to him.
He's modeling. Move the right hand. Oh. I'm really not a hand mover.
I think I should move the left hand. That's what I think, dude.
You're wrong.
I'm manipulating your mind, photographer.
Yes, I'm going to move my left hand. All right.
I wrote after that everything Julie has said is good or was good. She's glad the stigma is not on her anymore, and she's acting relieved. Which I wrote, she's definitely relieved. I think she definitely feels like she got a new lease on the game, and the fact that she was standing at the shelter with everybody, and they flat out just started talking to her. How are you doing? I'm good. I'm glad. I feel like I got a new game to play now, and even Keith's like, you're good. Everything's good. That's good. You're right. You do got a new game to play, and I'm like, yes, Julie, you're fitting in like a glove. That's really really smart. Playing a very good social game.
Let's see how close you got to that.
I can't believe they did it.
Did what?
It's John now.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
You okay with that, Julie?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks to see him go, but he's playing it that way. I'm glad I don't have to be a bystander anymore. Just kind of move on and let me play the game and not have to worry about him. So I'm all good.
Way to play it. Just like you said. She's not going off and crying like she did before, which gives the tribe, like the negative people on the tribe, reason to point her out. Instead, she's, hey, you know what? Tough. Yeah. This is my game. That was his game. Now, in her confessional, she's a little more, people do this to John all the time.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
So, anyway. Excuse me. So, that's all I got for that. Do you have anything else before we get to Exile Island?
Nope. Good, Julie.
All right. Of course. Poor Survivor. If you don't want people sharing the clue, then don't put the two urns right next to each other, right? Put them like 50 feet apart and say one of you needs to go to that urn, one of you needs to go to that urn, because then if they're going to share the clue, it gives them time to think about it. The way it is now, I open mine, there's no clue. I'm already looking over your shoulder, unless I'm Keith. I'm already looking over your shoulder, right? So they automatically share the clue. And that's what happened. I was
going to say, unless you're Val and you pull it against yourself, and you're Keith and you don't know to look. Right.
So apparently Alec likes to talk about Drew a lot. This is a funny little
very funny
segment.
It was good for Jacqueline. It was neat that we got to hear so much from her.
Yeah. and Drew's like, yeah, all those women, it's a curse, Sometimes it's a curse.
Yeah, you could play it off and say he talks.
Alex exaggerating.
Yeah, that's not my brother. I mean, come on. What I loved was they were showing this as she's picking up stick after stick after stick, and I think he's just walking and fixing his hair, and he's got one twig with a leaf on it, and she's carrying stick after stick after stick.
Yeah. And he's strategically walking behind her.
Yeah.
He did do a lot of looking.
I'm not here. He's one of my buds. I mean, it is pretty neat to be here with Miss Michigan. You know,
Yeah.
got that to look at. But
That's
that's
said.
not me.
Yeah.
Not at all. As he smiles, but it's cool,
It was so funny though, because she leans over, and at least she was wearing shorts, right? But she leans over, and he's about to walk away, and he just stops, stares.
Well, he didn't.
He's like, "Oh, cameraman!"
I know.
Sorry.
He looked back and said, "That camera wasn't on, was it? It's sitting on the ground."
Right over there. There was something walking in the. I was looking for Miko's animals. Sure, what it was. Anyway,
I loved it when Jacqueline's like, she just wants to collaborate. She just wants to talk about what we got to do.
Yeah.
Why are we here, Drew? Not to talk about, I'm just letting you, because he probably asked, how's Alec doing? Have you been talking to Alec? Have you gotten to know Alec? Because we want to work together. John sent me here to align the four of us, work together. So that's probably where that conversation starts. And but I love when they're, and I think this is towards the end, but it's like they're still out collecting snails and stuff. And she's down there picking up stuff. He climbs the rock. He's up on top of the rock. And Jacqueline, I could just hear saying, Drew, there's nothing up there. All the snails are down here.
Yeah.
There's a helicopter flying by.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand up here for the aerial shot. I'll be down in a minute.
I love that aerial shot. And for those aerial shots, they have to set that up. They don't just have a helicopter flying around.
Right.
So they were probably out there on the island or something, or they may have just said, "Hey, why don't y'all go climb on those rocks a little bit, and we'll bring the helicopter out." They didn't just happen to be flying by when they just happened to be on top of the rock.
No, but Drew happened to be on top of the rock by himself.
Well, yeah. Well, she's not. Yeah. So I think Jacqueline started the game talk, which I pretty much think is what you said.
Yeah.
And Drew tells of his master plan.
I think Drew wants everybody to know that he's running the game, so he's just going to tell everything.
Yeah. We can't let y'all win another one. And she's like, that's not quite where I thought this conversation was going.
Oh, we can't let y'all lose another one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, tell me more. Yes, sorry.
Yeah. So finish my good idea. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Thank you for telling me this. Oh, man. All right, so anything else about Exile?
Now, do you want to share what we learned on an exit interview about who else was into throwing or not yet?
Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about it later.
Let's do it later then. Yeah, we'll do it later. No, that's about it for Exile.
All right, Hunapu, day 9. They are enjoying the hammocks, which we saw in preview clips. So for those of you who don't like spoilers, it's a good thing you didn't watch the preview.
Mm-hmm. Because you know who won the reward. Yep.
Yeah. So background. Oh, did you notice the background music? That they have music, but then they got, oh yeah.
Meow.
Oh yeah.
Swing that hammock.
And that was while Keith was looking for the idol.
Yeah.
Scraping the idol, he's like, oh yeah. Really? What kind of weird music is this?
Everybody left the editing booth. Somebody came in and said, wait till they hear what I'm putting on this strip.
I half expected like a 1950 Porsche or something.
No.
So Reed walks up on Keith, and Keith stops looking.
Because I wonder if he, because Reed was kind of smiling, and I wonder if Keith felt like he got busted, so he figured he better tell him what he was doing. But the scene that they give that, it looks like a different scene. It doesn't look like it's still at the well. It looks like it's a little different. Because by the time he tells him what he tells him, he's talking to Missy and Natalie as well. So it's not just Reed.
There is no way to spin this to try that you can convince me or anyone else that Keith has any idea how to play Survivor. There is no way you can spin this.
I will not attempt to. I will not attempt to.
What a stupid, huge mistake. I do seem to recall Keith and Jeremy talking one-on-one, and Jeremy's like, we're firefighters, we have a code, I owe you, and all this kind of stuff. And the first thing Keith does, as Natalie would say, that boy has an idol, you better watch out. He's your alliance partner.
I'm sorry, I love Keith, but this is somebody that doesn't know the facets of the game. Just not the intricacy.
I can't wait to play Jeremy's explanation of how to play with alliances.
Yeah.
I have that clip. We'll play it at Tribal Council. But Keith, he's like, oh.
So Keith had it backwards. He thought if he told Jeremy, Jeremy would tell everybody. No, you tell everybody, and they tell Jeremy. That's how it works.
Yeah, and that alliance is gone. So Jeremy, being Mr. Emotional that he is, wants Keith gone.
Yes. Two back-to-back bad Survivor plays.
Yep. And then all of a sudden, boom! The idol pops out of the air and lands on Keith's stick.
So I'm on Facebook doing our stream for this, and when Keith doesn't find it and Reed comes up and Keith says it must be found, I wrote, dang, dog, nabbit. Oh, man, I wanted him to find that idol so bad. And then Reed comes, then the other things. And then he finds it the next time. Yay! Yeah. I think that's so cool because he's probably going to need it.
All right, what do you think? I just happened to glance down chat room, and Haldora, I do not know how to say her name, but I like Haldora. Haldora.
She's going, not like that, but I like that.
She's like, guys, stop saying my name. She says she thinks that Reed might have manipulated Keith into doing that, and they just didn't show us that. Yeah, in other words, he may have played on Keith's lack of knowledge and worked Keith a little bit.
I just find it hard to believe that Jeremy, who had clues, Reed, who has knowledge, Kelly, who has knowledge, have not been digging around that well looking for that idol.
Yeah.
You know, it's just weird that nobody's found that thing before.
Yeah, but what do you think about what Haldora had to say? That maybe Reed manipulated Keith.
I think it's entirely possible because Reed seems to know what's going on. We're just not hearing much from him, but he's a Survivor fan. He seems to know a lot about what's going on. I think he's been quiet around Drew, or else Drew's been ignoring him because I think he knows as much as Kelly.
Yeah.
And Drew didn't pick that out about Reed. He's picked all about Kelly. So
I think about anybody could have manipulated Keith.
Yeah, Keith doesn't know how to lie, I don't think.
Just in Survivor, not in life, but in Survivor. Right. Yeah. Thank you, Haldora.
And if Reed walks up on Keith sweeping the ground with a stick, because you got to know, people like Reed and Kelly will know they've gone to exile and they've come back, even if they haven't mentioned that they get the clues.
Right.
But they got to figure something's going on in exile because we're not getting any clues here. Yeah. You know, because just like we heard last season, people go through all the rewards. They dig through them, they look for clues, but nothing. So if people are going to exile, there's got to be clues there.
Right.
So.
All right. Now we're going to go to Coyopa, day 10, and learn why Alec does not have a long-standing girlfriend. Because he treats every girl as though the girl was him as a child.
I wrote down, I don't even know where to start on this segment. This was painful. This was so hard to watch. This is where I lost brain cells, watching this scene.
He got so irritated with her. Okay, and I don't want us to jump ahead because it plays on itself. All right. So don't jump ahead to the fireside or anything.
Okay.
Is that where you were going? Just
don't snatch it from me. When I get there, let me say it, but don't snatch it away from me when you do. But go ahead and go back.
Exactly. Exactly. Boy, he was so irritated.
I love Baylor's comment. You sound like a woman.
I know.
To me, this makes Baylor look even smarter.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
socially aware. She's like, you can just see in her face, I know boys like you, and I don't hang out with boys like you because you're a boy like you.
She's like, really? You're going to get that irritated because I took the paper from you? I'm so sorry, King Alec.
Oh, man. That really set him off, too. No.
And so just like, okay, I'm not going to say a typical woman because it's not true, but just like someone who likes to have fun with somebody who's acting childish.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see her snatch the paper from him at the fireside?
Yes.
Well, she does it again.
And he looks at her like, I told you not to do that.
I'm going to make you pay, little woman.
Don't do that. I'm not going to stand for it. Don't do it. You know.
Oh, that was so funny. He tries to read the clue, and Josh is like, Josh is like, do you mind reading that? Or do you mind if I just snatch?
Yeah. Do you mind reading that again? What? Well, I want to get the water part, or I'll just read it. You don't have to read it again.
Then they might show you on camera instead of me.
That's right. I'm getting a lot of camera time right now. Now, of course, all this could happen over a long period of time, but I wrote down that Alec wants a younger sibling to treat like Drew's treated him.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, that's what I got out of it. And it's funny that Baylor said he's like a little brother, even though he's 2 years older than me biologically. Maturity wise, he's definitely a little brother. You know, he's finally away from Big Brother, and he's not going to let people treat him like Alec. He's going to treat people like people have treated him. And man, he just bad social game to say, you know, that this is how I'm just not going to tolerate it. Right. You're not going to what?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
I've known you for how many days? This is Survivor. You tolerate stuff.
And you know what? I don't know if they said anything, but hats off to Wes for keeping your mouth shut. You know, when you see somebody lighting their feet on fire, you let them burn in Survivor. You don't put that fire out.
That's right. And also, I mean, seriously, you've known this girl for a little over a week, and you feel like it's your job to teach her? I mean, he's literally, okay, if he was Dale, you know, 45 years old, and he wants to act like a father figure, that's one thing. And, you know, and if maybe she bonded with him as a dad-like figure, sure. But that's not, no. She is not having this at all, and he doesn't really have a right to do it.
We've seen that. We've seen where younger females bond with the older males, and they have that father-daughter-like relationship, and there's advice going on that we notice there. But this is a kid trying to tell another kid how to be because of how he was raised, and it just got really hard because, you know, sometimes I got to get everybody on the same path. Oh, man, you're starting to sound like that guy. Wait a minute. You are related to that guy over there, aren't you? You know, because, you know, David can beat Goliath. Maybe David can beat Goliath. I'm like, dude, David did beat Goliath. There's no can or maybe to it. He did. So.
Oh, man. So just that whole thing was funny. And then, you know, he's like, my dad did this to me, so I'm going to do this to you. She's like, okay.
I was waiting for her to say, did you like it when your dad did it to you?
How'd that make you feel?
Yeah, that's what I wrote.
When the guy who had a right to do it did it.
That's when I wrote on the Facebook page. I feel like I just lost brain cells because I just got a lesson I didn't need. Oh boy.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the immunity challenge. Hello. I mean, we're talking water, swimming, climbing, throwing, doggy paddling, and way out in the water. This challenge had everything. Awesome challenge.
Agreed. I really, really liked it.
Yeah. And it's time for the mastermind to throw the challenge.
To be honest, I wish the end had been a little bit more challenging. I like that they could only do one at a time, but I would have liked that to be more challenging. But, yeah, I did like it. Every facet of it. There's so many different things to it.
Yeah. It's funny. No, Drew. The only one at a time. What? What? All right.
The one that just went through my fingers and rolled off the pier to the other side of the water?
Yeah. So, Missy, I really feel like, well, first of all, if we had blur points and I had Missy, I'd be winning the game.
And I had Drew, and he had a ton on Exile Island.
Yeah, I'm like, Missy, maybe, because, okay, she's wearing a bathing suit, so I don't think the bathing suit was the problem. I think it's that she had the buff around her, and I think the buff was pulling everything down. And it was just like Blur City for Missy.
I don't remember Jacqueline having that problem because she wore hers like a belly wrap or something, but she didn't seem to have that much problem. I'm like, yeah, if it's going to get in the way and hurt you in the challenge, you might want to wear it a different way.
Yeah, because then you're constant. And I'm saying this because she's literally spent most of the time pulling it up and worrying about it. You know. So, anyway, Jacqueline and Reed. Reed was a lot faster. Natalie and Alec. Now, do you think Natalie was going slow on purpose since she was aware of the plot to throw the challenge?
Her along with John and Jeremy, according to Drew.
That's right.
Two of them who sat out. I don't necessarily think she went slow. I think that was her speed. I mean, compared to Alec and Reed, who just flew over everything. No, I think that was her speed. I think she trusted Drew to screw it up at the end.
All right. Well, Alec passed her up big time. So, Wes and Keith. Keith gets a 9.75 on the diving score.
Indeed.
I mean, we're talking. Where's this guy learn how to dive?
Well, he's physically. Yeah. Exactly, man. And he went down a little splash, came up, went out there. That was pretty good.
He came up at the first buoy.
Yeah, exactly.
Way to go. Way to go. Anyway, anyone can toss, but Drew keeps taking the rings. It was so funny. And you know, anyone was allowed to toss. It didn't have to be just Drew. Yeah,
because both Josh and Dale threw on their side.
Yeah, and Julie tried, and he took it away from her.
Now, I have to think, though, I would say she did try because Reed later says she was no help at all at the challenge. Well, if you don't let her help, you're right, she's no help. But I think she must have had a couple tosses that just didn't get there.
Maybe so.
No. But, yeah, they only showed Drew.
I loved it when he took it away from her. It's my turn. And Reed's in the background, just, somebody throw it. Who cares?
And Alec is on the other pier going, oh, I've heard that before.
Yeah. Welcome to my world, Julie.
That's right. You're on Drew's island.
And he looks to Baylor and goes, that's how you should be treated.
That was my tree meal to read, not yours.
I dare you to grab a ring. I dare you. Do unto Baylor as Drew did unto me, saith Alec.
That's just a bad feeling to listen to that. The way he talked to her. It makes you. Made me a little frustrated. You know, if I heard somebody talking to another person like that, they're not related to or anything. It's just irked me.
Yeah. Cleopa wins.
Amazing.
Their first immunity challenge.
And who's the happiest? Drew, exactly. Oh, look at them smile. Way to go, bro.
Sorry, team.
Man, he was just smiling like crazy.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're giving it all away.
Yeah. Do you have anything else before we get to his confessional? I do have a quote from his confessional.
No, just that he was happy. He was happy as soon as it happened, and he was happy when they were diving off. He's like, look how excited they are. We did something for the little ones. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Drew says, if I don't want to win, we're not going to win. And that's what makes me the kingpin of my tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Back at camp. Still day 10. Hunapu. Natalie, who is on your Survivor Challenge team, gets you some more points for saying the title of the episode. I have yet to get points.
4 episodes in a row. If I sweep every episode, there's got to be an extra 1,000 points for that.
Well, that would be maybe next season's D&D challenge.
That's right.
So, but we're such a hot mess, she says, and of course Drew says I'm a bad a manipulator of this game.
I think she said you're a hot mess to Drew when he was apologizing. She's like, you were a hot mess out there.
Oh, yeah, she might have.
Yeah, I think that's who she was talking to. Just kind of that sounds like one of her phrases because she says it again. But
right.
But he didn't care if anybody knew he threw it. You know,
right.
It's how he runs things because he's running the tribe.
You know, and this just adds to the idiocy of what Drew did because, I mean, Natalie, Jeremy, and John were in on it with him to throw the challenge. Right. He had told them the night before, or the night before he went to exile, he had told them, and yet he's still saying that Natalie's going to vote a guy off? I mean, he was so narrow focused on Kelly going out that he just totally didn't think about all the other aspects.
See, this is something that I blame. I guess you could blame Reed since he's a fan of the show and should know the show, and Jeremy, and maybe Natalie. But the fatal mistake to this throwing of a challenge was have your target picked out before you throw a challenge, so that there should be no discussion after the challenge. Don't say let's throw the challenge and then we'll debate about it for 24 hours. Because you're going to have what they had. Why would you throw a challenge unless you had a target? Unless you had a Russell, you know?
Right.
They threw it because they wanted to lose Russell. They had 5 different people they wanted to lose.
Right.
And they should have made that decision before they threw the challenge. So the rule is if you throw a challenge, have a target. Second rule is don't ever throw a challenge.
Don't throw a challenge.
Yes. In fact, that should be rule number 1. Switch that. Rule number 1, don't throw a challenge. Rule number 2, if you do, have a target picked out before the challenge even happens.
And rule number 3,
don't throw a challenge.
Don't throw a challenge. That's right.
So revert to rule 1 and rule 3.
Yeah, and then after the game's over, you realize you were the same person. Forget it. That's a reference to a movie. I was watching that movie with Joshua the other day, which, by the way, I forgot about that scene I had to fast forward. But I was watching it with Joshua the other day, and at the big reveal at the end, I looked over at Joshua, and he's going like this.
It's all worth it.
Seriously? No way.
Yeah, that was a great
man, you gotta go watch it again now.
That was a really, really good. That's what I had last weekend when it was just Davis and I, and we finished our Lord of the Rings marathon.
I was gonna say, y'all watched.
No, we didn't watch that movie, but we watched Lord of the Rings, and he was waiting. I could tell he was waiting for some things big to happen, like to finish the story. And there were some scenes where I wish I'd have videotaped his reactions.
Right.
It was just awesome. He really got into the last movie.
All right. So let's see. John wants Julie gone, and while he's sitting there trying to talk, Drew walks up and begins. Oh.
Well, before he even gets there, John's philosophy is we should get rid of the single players.
Yeah, that's kind of odd.
Yeah. Well, is that what you thought? I mean, do you think it was odd? I mean.
Yeah. Why? Why?
Well, I understand that, but at the same time, if Jacqueline gets voted out, you'll become a single player. And why would you say this to Natalie? Because Natalie's a single player.
Yeah, she's yeah.
I wasn't quite sure.
He was reaching for reasons. He didn't really have a reason.
See, I agree because I think he wanted Julie gone, and then I think he started coming up with a reason why.
Yeah.
Because if your reason is to pick off solo people, you've got to throw out 3 names. You can't just throw out one. I think he had his name, and then he went back and picked a reason why.
Right. But then Drew approaches and doesn't even let John finish. And let's just say it now, he never lets anybody finish.
Right.
Any thoughts?
And John was talking, I wrote down Missy, Reed, and Keith. That's who he was talking to.
Yeah. Jeremy wants Keith. Well, now Jeremy showed up later, I guess.
That was a bit later, yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy wants Keith gone.
Right. Emotional decision, which even though Keith messed up because I give him slack because he's not a deep Survivor fan. Jeremy should have gone to him privately at some point and said, "Dude, what are you thinking?
Yeah,
this is not how it's done." Jeremy should know this. Jeremy should know what level of player Keith is, and he should do some sort of mentoring at some point. Jeremy seems like a real player, wants to play, but he's playing it too emotional. Like you said earlier.
Instead of getting emotional, help the guy out.
Exactly. If he's your alliance and you want to trust each other, help each other out.
That's right.
But they just didn't get there. They're playing David Sampson right at the beginning. They're trying to get rid of the threat right in the beginning.
Right. So let's just act like Davis is in the room, right? Okay. And you and I are in the room talking, and we start talking about why we don't want to go to the Shakalaka place because Davis will obviously do this, this, and this, and this. Hello, Davis is standing right there. That's what happened here. Natalie's standing right there. Part of the conversation, and Drew's like, the girls are going to vote out you, and then you, and then you, and then you. And Natalie's like, hello? Hello?
So many things. So many things that he did and said. I liked it when he looked at the group and said, so, who's the strongest player? Look, I don't like being tested. This is not a test. This is a game. But he looks at him like, give me an answer, and it better be the right answer. Who's the strongest player?
Like,
you want us to say you?
You?
Yeah. Well, no, I am the strongest player. I'm the leader, but I'm not the one you want to vote out.
That's not what I meant. I meant, who's the person in my mind right now that I'm thinking of?
And I don't mean to insult. I don't mean to insult at all. Yeah, exactly. Who am I thinking?
Yeah.
But, I mean, he throws out Kelly.
Yeah.
I like Kelly. I picked Kelly. You like Kelly. Everybody likes Kelly. But the editing team does not like Kelly yet.
No, not yet.
I could see the look on the other faces of, who?
Yeah.
Oh, Kelly, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You think Kelly's the strongest? Oh,
yeah, the blonde-headed girl. Got it. Gotcha. And it's almost like...
We thought you meant, like, strong.
Yeah. We thought you were talking about one of us.
We didn't know you meant whatever it is criteria you used for that.
Strong. In what phrase can you use that in a sentence? Strong and Kelly in a sentence. Give me an idea.
Well, she's strong in knowledge of the game, apparently, and she may be strong strategically. We just haven't seen it yet.
I think like some of her words early in the episode were about the season, how the game runs, and I would be willing to bet she has spoken in that manner that gives people the impression she really knows this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she talks about this game a lot. She knows a lot of stuff about it.
Yeah. So
and he was right. I'm just saying it again.
Yeah,
Drew was right.
He was right. He just didn't know he was right.
Exactly. That's how bad it was.
That's like when you're playing like rummy with somebody or poker with somebody, and they think they have two pair, and they're like, crud, I lost. I got two pair. You're like, dude, you got a full house, you idiot. And they go, oh, I won. You know?
I'm telling you, if she wins, he's going to stand up and go, I told you guys she was the smartest player.
Yes.
I know. I hate that with poker.
Yeah.
People don't know what they have.
Well, I got all this, but none of them go together. They're all spades. I hate you.
I only got two pair, 2 7s and 2 7s.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Can I put them together, make 4 pair?
Yeah. All right. So then we get Natalie's like, okay, fine, Drew's an idiot, and the guys are totally off. I'm going to go talk to Missy. And again, I say it, Drew basically pushed the girls to join together. And so they're like, let's do it.
All right, before, I just want to point out what you said earlier about Jeremy, because I got a point to make here. When
All
Jeremy
right.
started talking about Keith, he's talking to Drew, John, Natalie, and Reed. And the two people that are in both of these conversations, which is to me a good sign for them, are Natalie and Reed. We haven't heard a lot from Reed, but we do hear some from Natalie.
Right.
And I think that puts both of them in a good position.
Yeah.
Now, Reed didn't vote the way he should have voted, but Natalie did.
Right.
And I this was a really good social game play for Natalie. She fit right in both groups. So I just thought that was interesting of who was in both of the conversations.
Well, when push came to shove and Natalie got all the girls together, who's the one guy she went to?
Her boo.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Jeremy, exactly.
Yeah. So then we get well, how about
what Jeremy said to Drew? If I'm not jumping ahead, where he said, if you don't, basically, if we're in an alliance, you got my back, I got your back. If somebody's coming after you, I help you, and I expect the same. So if you don't help me get Keith, then you don't have my back.
Right.
And that should have told Drew right there, I may have just lost somebody.
Yeah.
Something's not right. I need to fix that. But not Drew. Drew just figures everybody's going to do what he tells them to do.
Right. So let's talk about getting Kelly out and call the girls a very bad name.
Yes.
Literally 10 feet away from Kelly, and let's do it without whispering. Yeah.
Dude, she's right there. I don't care.
She's listening.
Several times she's right there.
And she went back and said, girls, this is what Drew just called all of us.
Yep. And this is more smart survivor play from Kelly. She didn't speak up. She didn't argue with him. Right. She never confronted him. I think she just kind of looked around, and as it worked out, Natalie went to the girls and said, you know what? I've been in every male conversation for the last 2 hours, and these guys are a bucket of nuts.
That's right.
They are a bag of broken potato chips. They're going to vote for 6 different people. They're going to vote for people who aren't even on our tribe.
Yes.
They are so ticked at people. They're going to vote for like 6 different people.
They're talking about voting Wes off.
Yes, exactly. They're going after Wes now. So let's see. There's 4 of us. We could wipe out this entire male side of the tribe with one tribal council between the 4 of us.
Right.
Oh my gosh, this is the part where I just stand up and applauded. I stood up and did the slow clap. Way to go, girls.
I know.
Drew is right. The girls are going to vote out the guys because the guys can't get together. It's hilarious. Good survivor play.
Yeah. Wow.
But you know why Drew is worried about the girls?
Why, David?
It came to us at Exile Island. The reason Drew is worried about these girls, and he says to the tribal council, and I don't want to get too far ahead, but they never came to him to talk about anything. Right. He's not used to girls not coming up to him. Girls always come up to him, even when he doesn't want them to. Yeah. Girls come up to him. So these can't be normal women.
David,
they have to be out there.
Seriously, David, it's a curse, and it's something I've had to live with my whole life. I can relate.
No, it's
hard.
It's a curse.
Yes. David, it's a curse. I just don't know.
The audio listeners won't get all that, but There's some hair tossing, and I have no hair, so I'm tossing air, and you're pushing back the hair that you have.
Hey, you know what we ought to do sometime? Like, we ought to have some kind of bet going on where if you lose, you got to put on that spray hair stuff. That'd be awesome.
My goodness.
That would be awesome. My Mac is telling me, plug me in.
You might want to do that.
I just did.
So
my final thought. Go ahead. I have a final thought. So
I got a few other notes, so let me finish that. I wrote down that Natalie said to Missy, "These guys are so dumb. They just don't get it." And I'm disappointed in Jeremy and Reed. These two Survivor fans, they're not looking at each other like, we're going in all different directions. We got to fix this, you know.
Yeah.
She says the guys are not on the same page, so it's time to strike. And then Natalie pulls a Kim Spradlin. She goes, let's think about this, to Missy, the other smart, savvy adult sitting back watching everybody screw up. She says, who's going to start winning individual challenges? She says, like John and Drew, and Missy goes, definitely Drew. Because like everybody's been saying, he's really good in challenges. And she says it needs to be Drew. And Natalie goes, I agree with you.
Yep.
You made the call, and I agree with you. Good job, Natalie.
Way to go, Natalie.
Yep.
All right.
Anything else? Drew said sending Kelly home is a power move. And he said that in front of Kelly, like you said. Kelly's like, thank you, that's very nice, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Sending Kelly home is a power move.
I want every camera to catch that. All sides.
I'm about to say something. Kelly, step back a little bit. Producers.
A little more. No. So if all that's not bad enough, because we don't really like to tear people down too much.
Oh no, we're very positive.
But he made it so easy. But if that's not enough, then he tells Missy to her face, we don't trust you enough to vote. And I think he's going to say the way we tell you to vote. And John goes, whoa, dude,
you're being a donkey.
You're being a donkey right now. What are you doing? Are you saying this to the person that you think you're saying it to? Drew's like, I don't care. They're all going to do what I tell them anyway.
Yeah.
No way they're not going to listen to me. Girls always do what I tell them.
Okay, that's my last point. I don't think Drew knows how to act when he doesn't get his way. I think he is so used to getting his way and people doing what he says that he either doesn't associate with people who do not do what he says, or he just always has people do what he says. But he is not a persuader of people at all. His idea is, well, all I should have to do is just say it, and you should do it. You know?
Right, because he's going to talk to the girls that come to him, and they're going to do what he wants them to do.
After they kiss his ring.
Right, kiss the rings. Because anybody that gets to sleep through the car wash on Saturday mornings and his brother has to do it, he's got it made.
Yeah.
He gets what he wants. I never got to sleep through car washes.
Golly. Don't you know that? Now, granted, that would tick me off.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Just make the kid do it. Well, he won't do it, and you're the obedient one, so you do it.
Come on, you know he's not going to do it right if we send him out. Look at him. He's so handsome. Look at him. Sleeping there till 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. Look at him. Okay, I'm ready.
All right, let's get to tribal council.
Please.
John and Drew get along.
They run around like 5-year-olds. It's very cute.
Yeah. Missy basically said, look, half the tribe's selfish, a.k.a. those 4 guys.
I was going to say, guys, look around. Divide the numbers. She's talking about you. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Keith goes, I'm a fire chief.
Too many chiefs, not enough squalls.
That's right.
Squalls, whatever they're called. Drew, Probe says, you were demolished today. And he's like, well, maybe it was the swimming could have been better. Maybe the retrievers could have been better.
The divers.
Really?
Because the fact that we were tied when we started tossing rings had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
They could have got me at least another 20-minute lead. It didn't have to be tied like that.
Yeah.
And that's when he said what I said earlier about, wow, I guess now we got to play. Like, if you're starting to play on day 10 or 11 or 12, you're 10 or 11, 12 days behind half your tribe. And I can tell you what half that is. It's not the selfish half.
Yes. Oh, wow. All right. Now, I'm going to let Jeremy take over.
Okay.
Because this has got to be one of the best parts of Tribal Council. And I wish you could watch Keith's face, but just go back and watch this. But here is Jeremy finally just, okay, Keith, here's how it is.
Keith comes back from exile, tells everybody that I have an idol. So I said, Keith, why don't you come to me and say, hey, do you have an idol? We're aligned.
I was looking for the idol, and I didn't find the idol. I assumed, might have been wrong, I assumed Jeremy had beat me to the punch.
And I'm in your alliance, so why don't you come to me?
Because you go to somebody else, and they go to somebody else, and before you know
We
it,
could have kept it between me and you.
Jeremy, come on now.
We couldn't?
It doesn't happen like that in this
Why
game.
not?
It just doesn't. If I say, okay, Jeremy, I got an idol, first thing in his head, let's put his name down.
Not if we're in an alliance. That's what an alliance is, Keith.
But it's more than two people,
Well,
Jeremy.
we could have two people aligned and have a sub-alliance with everybody else. We could have done that.
Sub-alliance, okay.
We could have done that, Keith.
That's a new one on me.
It's not a new one in Survivor.
It's not a new one in Survivor.
Hey,
Hello?
Jeremy, everything is new to Keith.
I know. I mean, my gosh.
This is where you mentor, you work with somebody. You gotta help.
How funny is it? Keith had no idea.
Sub-alliance. You know, the first I've heard of it, sub-alliance.
Yeah. Sub-alliance. Did you watch last season? Did you watch the season before?
I mean,
Keith, and then it's over, and Keith's like, doing this, and he looks over at Jeff like,
well, you saw why he did that, didn't you? Did you see that bug on his shoulder?
oh, was it a big bug?
There was a bug about this big, and Terry saw it. She was watching at the time.
I'll have to watch that.
She goes, whoa, what was that on his shoulder? So
it?
what do you mean? She goes, rewind it. You need to see that. It was like a big locust thing or something that was crawling up his shoulder, and it got right up on his neck.
Well, I guess I'd be flipping that off too then.
But exactly. But that's why he looked at Jeff like, you didn't see that, did you? Okay. But he,
Anyway.
this is where I felt Jeremy was having a bad episode. I just felt he aired too much out in the open. If Keith wasn't, Jeremy wasn't even voting for Keith, so Keith wasn't going home. He should have saved it. Maybe Jeff prodded it out of him after hours of asking. But this is just where, and we had some listeners right then that they thought Jeremy had a good episode. He's still, looking good to make it to the end. And I asked folks to send in your feedback this week and tell me why, because I disagree.
Right.
I thought Jeremy did not have a good episode. In fact, he was saved. The only thing he did right in this episode was listen to Natalie and the girls.
But I still like the fact that he just got so frustrated that he just explained the whole concept of alliances to Keith, and that Keith just was like, Now, I'm sure Keith went back to his tent or whatever and laid down and went, oh, like at 3 o'clock in the morning, he wakes up and goes, oh, I get it now.
Jeremy, wake up. I want to do that sub-alliance now.
Dadgummit, I should have went to Jeremy. We're an alliance. That means we're together.
Hey, can we still do that sub-alliance? Well, not if you ask in front of everybody.
You woke everybody up to ask me.
Hey, y'all go back to sleep. I just need to talk to Jeremy for a minute. Poor guy. I love him.
Oh,
but,
man.
I don't know. I just think after so many days, you got to recognize that, and you got especially if you're going to align with him, you got to make rules at Exile Island. We don't talk about anything, but we share. If we're going to work together, we got to share.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, Probst, Natalie says, Drew thinks the girls are going to take out the guys. Would you like to be Probst right now, David?
But how is that going to happen? Because the numbers aren't in the girls' favor.
Exactly.
That's mathematically impossible. Thank you, Jeff. Can you tell that guy over there not to worry and to listen to what I was trying to say?
And Drew's like, no, you don't understand. Girls have superpowers.
Because I can't persuade these girls like I can other girls.
Yeah.
So these must be superpower girls.
These are not normal girls.
They are immune to my manipulation.
Yeah.
So what we didn't get, on a serious note, what we didn't get was Natalie's. What was Natalie's pick? Who did she want to send home? Was she on the Julie side as well? I don't remember hearing Natalie say who she was.
I don't remember.
I don't think she ever got a chance to.
No.
I think she saw an opportunity and she very smartly jumped on it.
Right.
So.
All right. You know you're in trouble when John says, "I honestly am so confused what name I'm supposed to be writing down right now," that is bad news. The girls are like, "We got this."
He was really confused because of who he wrote down. That was bad. Oh, man. What are we going to do? And Drew wants to get rid of bad energy, and Kelly's like, who are we talking about now?
Yeah, who's the bad energy?
Because he didn't say anything about Kelly being bad energy.
Yeah.
She's just a savvy player. So, but he doesn't trust girls because they don't come up to him. If they're not coming up to him, he don't trust them. Oh, man. But I like that, what you said, John. I never got a full grasp of what the final strategy was. We came here too soon.
Yeah.
So I'm still not sure who I'm supposed to write down.
Yeah. So I read Dalton Ross this morning.
Yeah.
And I put on Twitter, I'm going to read his whole first paragraph because I could never say it any better. Oh, boy. I have no idea what just happened. Not a clue. I mean, for a second there, I thought I was watching an old Abbott and Costello routine, but instead of trying to figure out who's on first, I'm stuck attempting to comprehend who exactly voted for whom at Hunapu's first tribal council and why. Let's see here. Okay. As far as I can tell, it went a little something like this. Jeremy wanted Keith out, but instead voted for Drew. John wanted Julie out, but instead voted for Keith, even though the guy who wanted Keith out didn't vote for him. Keith and Reed voted for Julie, even though the guy who wanted Julie out didn't vote for her. Knowing Natalie, she probably voted for John Rocker, even though he's not even on her tribe and is already out of the game. And Drew voted for Kelly because basically I'm a bad and the manipulator of this game. And then the bad manipulator was voted out.
That's pretty much it.
If you don't read Dalton, go read him. He's hilarious.
How messed up is that? That the people that wanted to be that's a lack of communication. Well, I know that he wanted Keith gone, John said. So I guess we're going for Keith. Just a couple. All we need is a couple votes because these girls don't matter. What were they? I don't know what they were thinking, but such a.
All right. Well, no one plays Immunity Idol, and Drew goes home, and we get a hashtag blindside.
So this to me was the only thing Jeremy got right. Was that he voted with the alliance. And fortunately for him, that's an alliance he made what seemed like on day one, where he got with the women and they made their alliance, and he was smart. And I think, I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. He could have voted for Julie, and it wouldn't have mattered. Drew still would have gone home, but he was. Now we see that I think he's tighter with Natalie and the women than he is with the men, obviously.
Well, yeah. Well, it won't matter, but we won't talk about that yet.
Yeah.
So before we get to next time on and stuff, stock up, stock down, David?
My stock down, and I know people are going to disagree with me, goes to Jeremy. Until he comes out of his funk about playing to get his revenge for Val, or spilling his plans out at Tribal Council, or sharing too much information, I just thought Jeremy is not in the power position that I thought he was in, or that he seemed like he was building himself. I think Natalie's in a much better position, so I would give my stock up to her. I just thought she came out of this looking really well because she's still got ties at some sense to John and Reed and definitely to Jeremy and the rest. So she's still got alliances with them, but all she's got to tell John is, look, the ladies agreed to vote Drew out. So it was either I go with them or I show myself not with them, so I'm not going to do that.
Right. So your stock up is Natalie, your stock down is Jeremy.
Yes.
My stock up is Kelly because I didn't know how good of a player she was until this episode.
I don't think we still know how good a player she is going to be. We just got Drew's interpretation.
And my stock down went to Keith. Poor old Keith. You were in a good position, and then you had to go and blow it. So, stock down. All right. Hey, everybody. Feedback show is Sunday night. This episode, we got to tell you what we thought. Sunday night, you tell us what you think. You need to get your feedback in. You can go to stwdd.com/feedback. And there's different ways to leave it. You can leave audio, you can leave it written, however you want to do. But deadline is Sunday at 7 p.m., and we will be live at 10 p.m., where you can watch and chat about whatever you want. But we know you'll have a good time. Also, we would appreciate some iTunes reviews. Please go and subscribe and leave us some iTunes reviews. A 5-star rating is great. A review is even greater. You can follow me on Twitter at Survivor_talk. Join our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Survivor Talk. Ask and we will Ask and it shall be given unto you. You will be joined. All right? So we're going to talk a little bit about next week. So if you don't like that, it was nice talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Next time on, John versus Hunapu.
John continues the poor play by putting himself against his entire tribe.
Right. But that, that's going to be that night. But I don't think what he's saying is him saying it. I think he was quoting Drew. When he says, you're either with me or against me, etc., and you see all these shocked reactions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's saying that. That doesn't sound like him at all. That sounds like what Drew would say, and it sounds like he's quoting Drew.
So you think they're calling him out for being aligned with Drew, and he's saying, this is the way Drew was talking, or?
Yeah, I think he's kind of just defending of why he would have voted with them if they had just told him.
Yeah. No. You're right. That doesn't sound like him at all.
And then we get tribal swap, which is going to be great.
Yes.
It's going to be fun.
Even though you're not in favor of it, but I am.
No, I am. I'm saying I don't think it was like Andy Baker had his tinfoil hat on the other night and said he thinks they're going to do one because they're going to need to. And I'm saying, no, they don't need to, but they're doing one anyway. I think it was already scheduled.
Right.
So.
Well, I think the good part about it is it mixes the game up, and it's almost like a restart, which is fun. The bad thing is it could really hurt somebody's game who's in a good position right now.
Yeah. Apparently, let's see, Bobby Kelly says the new tribes next week look fascinating, especially on Coyopa. So apparently there's a way to figure out who the new tribes are already.
Uh-oh.
If anybody wants to post that in our chat, I will be glad to talk about it, since we've already given the spoiler warning. Spoiler warning, spoiler warning. Anyway. Oh, by the way, I haven't got to use this new sound effect. Are you ready, David?
Sure.
First of all, you need to say, Dwayne, you're awesome.
Dwayne, you're awesome. They're applauding that I can actually say that in a straight face.
Yes. Thank you, David. Thank you, David. So music for tonight's show is Summit by Skrillex, because I have not been inspired to write anything other than a semi-rap about John Rocker.
Yeah.
That never made it to air. And let's see. That's all I got. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Those of you who are watching on our Watch and Chat live page, just because we're going away doesn't mean you have to. You can hang around and chat for as long as you want, and it'll be a great night. David, we had more listeners, more viewers, tonight than we've had in a long time. Like since we had Andrea on a long time ago, we had a lot of viewers for that, and we had a lot of viewers for Tony and Cass. But tonight, for a normal show, so there you go. Good job. And some of the quotes on the chat room were, quote, I love this chat room idea. So there you go. All right. You have anything else to say, David? Any final words from David, the amazing man?
Where's the applause for that comment? Okay. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what the SCA 9000 has to think Sunday night about losing its pick to win. But this was a great episode because it covered horrible play to really good play.
Yeah, it was.
So I really, really liked it. This was a good episode.
Hey, I just saw that Patrick, otherwise known as Weed Bay Guy, is in the chat room.
Yeah.
So I just want to publicly thank him. He's really helped me a lot this week with the website. The STWDD now works because of him. And also he helped me figure out coding for the YouTube video being on the page that y'all are watching it on, and also helped me figure out the whole chat window. And so
so basically he did everything for us and you thanked him for it.
No.
You just list off. He did this and he did this.
I said he helped me.
Okay.
He helped me.
He helped you by typing it out and sending you the link. Gotcha. Okay.
No, that's not what he did.
I know.
Sometimes he finally gets frustrated with me and goes, you know what, I'll log in and do it. But he doesn't always do that. So, but anyway. Oh, what happened, David? You went away.
Oh, I just muted for a second.
Middle of an awesome laugh.
I had to cough.
Thanks again for listening, everybody. That's all I got. How about you, Dave?
I'm good.
All right, see ya.
See ya.